An Oklahoma reserve deputy turned himself into the authorities. Stay with us to find out why.
An activist take over San Diego and the rest of the nation. Will let you know who is responsible for shutting down the streets.
San Diego has been getting some summer-like temperatures, but will it last? I'll have your weather forecast coming up. Newscene starts right now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Newscene. I'm Elizabeth Baker.
And I'm Daniela Porter.
Thank you so much for joining us. ISIS is claiming responsibility for an attack of the U.S. consulate in Iraq. This morning, suicide bombers blew up a car, killing 2 and injuring 5 others. That was followed by yet another attempt. One more car with explosive drove towards the consulate, but was stopped by security before crashing into the consulate. This comes just days after suicide bombers took over the majority of the key city of Ramadi.
The latest al-Qaeda expansion in Arab Peninsula is raising more threats to the Middle East anti-terrorist-led coalition plan. Al-Qaeda captured Yemen's largest seaport and oil facility near capital after defeating a local militant group last night. Al-Qaeda has progressed into the southern region of the nation. This new information shows Al-Qaeda is strongly linked to the radical Shiite rebel and their loyalty to the former president. Yemen's current loyal forces to President fled to Saudi Arabia last week are intensely battling the groups. The U.S.-led air coalition, along with Arab allies, essentially targeting the militia groups where Al-Qaeda has maintained their presence in the past few months.
And local authorities are on the lookout for the main suspect of a Chula Vista homicide that occurred earlier this month. Last night at around 6 p.m., 38-year-old Alejandro Gutierrez was spotted in Chula Vista by U.S. Marshals near the corner of 2nd Avenue and Palomar Street. Gutierrez got away on foot after the sighting. He is described as a Hispanic male, 5'9" inches tall and about 180 pounds, with short shaved brown hair and brown eyes. Gutierrez is considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information on his whereabouts should contact the Chula Vista Police Department.
A toddler died yesterday after his mother accidentally ran him over. The woman's son unfastened his seatbelt and got out of the car while she was parking. The mother did not realize he had gotten out of the vehicle. She immediately took him to the hospital where he died from injuries sustained. Police do not expect to make an arrest.
And the 2016 presidential election is just around the corner. And this week, 2 big candidates jumped into the race, officially announcing their party's nomination. Abtin Mohammadi has the details.
Thanks, Elizabeth. The list of the presidential candidates is growing. This week, 2 more candidates announced they won the position, and social media led up. This week, Democrat Hillary Clinton and Republican Marco Rubio officially announced they are running for president. Both candidates' confirmation quickly spread on social media and sparking public opinion. Ms. Clinton has revealed her crucial mission to change the economic landscape and to lead the country into a new era.
I think we all know that Americans have come back from some pretty tough economic times. And our economy and our country are much better off because American families have basically done whatever it took to make it work.
Her reputation to define intellectual foreign policy strategy and develop positive international images for the nation in the past is being used as an essential factor in her campaign. She is a woman with a glorious experience operating foreign policy.
We've got to figure out in our country how to get back on the right track. And I'm running for president because I think that Americans and their families need a champion, and I want to be that champion.
She'll be facing off with a young candidate with Latino background, Marco Rubio, who has promised new trends to emerge on future grand work of America.
Surrounded by the lessons of our history, but inspired by the promise of our future, I announce my candidacy for President of the United States.
Born to Cuban immigrant parents, he's going after Latino votes, demands country needs liberty and justice for everyone as a most diversified nation on the earth.
I think ultimately when it comes to being president, vice president, or anything else, you want the best people there, because that's going to have an impact on the future of our country and on your future irrespective of your age, your ethnicity, your gender. I would never assume that every Hispanic in America has to vote for me because I'm Hispanic, because my last name is Rubio. I have to earn their support.
This list makes 4 total candidates so far. 2 other Republican candidates have already come forward, Rand Paul and Ted Cruz. Elizabeth, this is just the beginning of an exciting race.
Absolutely, Abtine, and we'll definitely be focusing all of our attention on this story in the upcoming months. And San Diego City Council member Marty Emerald is retiring from her seat at the end of her next term. Next year, it was announced on Wednesday that she will not be running for re-election to represent District Number 9. The former journalist was diagnosed with breast cancer last year, and it has been speculated that this is the reason why she may be retiring. However, Emerald has stated that her health is in excellent condition. And the fight for a living wage went worldwide this Wednesday, reaching many parts of the globe and many communities right here in San Diego, including the college area. Emerald Campos has more on this story.
Across the nation, activists are taking to the streets and letting their voices be heard.
If you're a low-wage worker,
today, those voices rang loud and clear.
Minimum wage workers joined forces today on San Diego State campus to voice their opinion over the 5 for 15.
Activists are fighting to increase the minimum wage to $15. It has quickly become a battle, gaining momentum after fast food workers walked out in protest 2 years ago, sparking a debate that many feel is long overdue.
That the cost of our cheap food comes from paying people wages that they can't support themselves and their families on.
But it doesn't end there. The Fight for 15 is broadening its initial scope from fast food workers to include all minimum wage earners, such as domestic workers, custodians, and even adjunct professors. And in a city that is ranked the most expensive place to live in, the issue hits very close to home. Social worker Kat Mendoza talks to us about her experience.
I mean, I remember working 80 hours a week while I was in college just to break 30 grand so I can do the bill, like all the bills I had, all the car payments, and it's tough.
Activists will continue the fight for 15 until a living wage is met for all workers nationwide. Emerald Campos, Newscene.
The minimum wage in San Diego is currently set at $11.50 per hour. The wage increase will most likely be on the ballot next year.
City College Associated Student Government election will happen this week on the 22nd and the 23rd of April. City students can vote for one of the 6 candidates running for a SG president. You can cast your vote at school or online. The online open poll will open at 7:30 in the morning on Wednesday and closing at midnight on Thursday. To cast your vote, you can go to the SDC portal, keyword city as vote.
And the border city of Calexico's police department is currently under investigation by the Department of Justice. Police Chief Mike Bostic, who is known for reworking police departments, has already laid off 6 officers since he took the position last fall. According to sources, Bostic personally sought out the DOJ due to the dire need of reform within the department. The Calexico PD is also currently under investigation by the FBI. That investigation started at the end of last year. Both the DOJ and the FBI are expected to monitor the Calexico PD for the next 3 years.
The Oklahoma deputy who mistook his gun by a taser and shot a man declared that he made a mistake. 73 years old Robert Bates turned himself into the authorities on Thursday. Bates told investigators he meant to use his taser but pick up his gun instead. It all happened during a sting operation when the volunteer deputy tried to reach for the taser, but instead he reached for his gun.
Bates was surrendered today and booked In light of the charges, he's not going to make a statement. We will defend this in the court of law, and that's what we're going to do. And when he has his opportunity to speak at the conclusion of the case, he will do so.
Price is now facing a charge of second-degree manslaughter for the death of Eric Harris.
And a record-breaking drug bust happened earlier this week. Navy crews from the U.S. and Canada, along with the Coast Guard, seized the 28,000 pounds of cocaine near Central and South America. Authorities then removed the drugs off a U.S. Coast Guard ship yesterday in San Diego. The Coast Guard says the contraband is worth over $424 million.
Two local Army reserves accused of selling firearms and military ammunition pleads not guilty in court Thursday. 22-year-old Jaime Casillas and 34-year-old Staff Sergeant Andrew Reyes were arrested Wednesday. They allegedly sold high-grade military weapons to undercover federal agents who were posed as a member of the Mexican drug cartel. Investigators say the suspects were wearing their Army uniform. In at least one of the transactions, Casillas and Reyes are both being held without bail. They are considered a flight risk since they both frequently Mexico. They are scheduled to be in federal court on Monday.
And from the Super Bowl to the Slammer, an NFL player that starred in the big game in 2011 will be spending the rest of his life in prison. We'll have more on that story, more after the break.
It is a big weekend for hockey. After the break, find out what playoff game will take place this weekend.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire.
Violence claimed the life of Christians in Middle East earlier this week. The daily journey by sea for migrants leaving Africa and the Middle East claimed more lives Thursday. Police in Palermo, Sicily, have arrested 16 Muslim migrants after witnesses said they had thrown a dozen Christian migrants overboard from a boat trying to cross the Mediterranean. Another boat sinking is being reported, with 41 people drowned. More than 4,000 people have died at sea leaving Africa and the Middle East since the start of 2014.
And after 33 years, the Obama administration has removed Cuba from the terror list. Obama's decision is in efforts to reestablish embassies in both Washington, D.C. and Havana. Cuba was placed on the terror list in 1982 during the Cold War. Cuban officials reacted quickly, saying that their nation's placement on the list was unfair and long overdue. And Congress now has 45 days to act if they want to reject Cuba's removal from the terror list. A senior administration official said it is unlikely lawmakers will come up with enough votes to override a presidential veto.
5 years after killing her boyfriend, Jodi Arias had been sentenced to life in prison without parole. Two previous juries were unable to decide whether or not Arias should receive the death penalty. The final decision was given to Judge Sherry Stevens at the hearing that took place Monday. Arias claimed her boyfriend was attacking her before she stabbed him several times and then shot him. This trial has been closely watched over the internet and has been trending worldwide on Twitter.
After nearly 3 months, a jury has been selected for the murder trial of James Holmes. It consists of 12 jurors and 12 alternates. The panel includes 5 men and 19 women. Opening statements begin April 27th. Holmes is accused of killing 12 people and injuring dozens more nearly 3 years ago inside a Colorado movie theater. He has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty.
NFL star Aaron Hernandez has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. The former New England Patriots football player was convicted of first-degree murder on Wednesday. The jury found him guilty of killing his longtime friend Odin Lloyd, who died in 2013 after being shot 6 times. It was very emotional in the courtroom as the verdict was read and victim impact statements were made by Lloyd's family, and sorrow outside the courtroom afterward.
My baby footprint is in my heart forever. He was my strength. I love him dearly.
Just prior to the murder, the 25-year-old Hernandez had signed a $40 million contract. In another happier news, will he stay or will he go? The NFL has made their decision in regard to Adrian Peterson's return. Gary Bryant is here to give us the latest.
Yes, thank you, Daniela. And it is good news for running back Adrian Peterson. On Thursday, the NFL decided to reinstate the star tailback after a year of suspension. Peterson hasn't played since last year's season opener in St. Louis, and despite the trade rumors, the reinstatement has only given the Vikings the clarity they needed as they head into the draft in 2 weeks. Now, bringing it back to San Diego, it is safe to say the Padres are on a roll. Our defense is flashing the leather, the pitching is stellar, the bats are alive. The Padres are starting the season off with a 6-4 record, winning each of their first 2 home series. Left fielder Justin Upton now has the longest active hitting streak in the National League. Now all we have to do is keep up the momentum as we take on the Cubs at the friendly confines. Now from the diamond onto the ice, the Mountain West Hockey League wrapped up their final season game in San Diego. Fans were excited as the San Diego Skates defeated the Orange County Checkers by a score of 10-2. The Skates finished the season with the league's best record, making them the Mountain West Hockey League regular season champions. Now this is pretty funny. In honor of the NHL playoffs, Jimmy Fallon announced the 2015 NHL Stanley Cup superlatives. Check it out.
Our first player is Matt Cullen. He was voted most likely to stand behind you at a bookstore and say, "That's a good one." Next is Scott Darling from the Chicago Blackhawks. He was voted most likely to be watching his friend get yelled at by his mom. Valtteri Filppula from the Lightning. He was voted most likely to be Draco Malfoy if he became a hockey-themed wrestler. Finally, from Tampa Bay, we have Vladislav Namestnikov. He was voted Russian Bieber. There you go, guys. Those are your NHL superlatives.
That is some funny stuff. Now, if the pace that was set on Wednesday is any indication of how tonight's playoff games will go, fans should buckle up for a wild ride. Ottawa takes on Montreal. The Blackhawks are scheduled in Nashville. The Islanders travel on over to Washington, and the Calgary Flames go head-to-head against the Vancouver Canucks. My money is on the Ducks to take it, but I will be rooting for the Blackhawks tonight. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Carrie. That was very funny. And we're gonna have a pause to go to commercials at this moment.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Thank you. got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Police have released a sketch of a man who tried to kidnap 2 children in Coronado. The incident happened around 10 in the morning last Saturday, just outside their home on the 500 block of C Street. Police say the man drove past the girl, a 9-year-old girl, and her 2-year-old sister. They drove back, demanding they came back to the car. The 9-year-old then picked up her sister and ran. Authorities describe the suspect as an Asian adult Asian man, 30 to 50 years old. They say he was driving a white older model minivan. If you have any information, please contact Crime Stoppers.
And sad news out of the desert this weekend. A Torrey Pines graduate was killed while attending the popular music festival, Coachella. 23-year-old Janik Anderson was struck by a train around 3 a.m. Saturday morning. Anderson died soon after from injuries he sustained. Coroners have not released if drugs or alcohol were a factor. His friends and family remember him as a star in his community and have started a hashtag Live for Janik in his honor.
Good news for all the students in the San Diego Community College District. More courses have been added to the list of classes that will be offered in the summer semester. 8-week classes will help students complete the requirements sooner. A student can register online at sdccd.edu.
Oh, and a lot is going on in entertainment right now. Roxana Paul has the latest.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. We start tonight with the former rap mogul Suge Knight, who is facing a trial for a deadly hit-and-run confrontation that happened in January. The rapper struck 2 men with his pickup truck, killing 1 man and seriously injuring the other. Bail was lowered from $25 to $10 million. Knight was a key player in the gangster rap scene that flourished in the 90s. He faces up to life in prison if convicted. Actress Rita Wilson is another victim of breast cancer. Fortunately, she discovered it early and is getting the treatment she needs. Wilson revealed that she had a double mastectomy and reconstructive surgery. The actress, who is married to Tom Hanks, says she feels blessed to have the love and support of her husband, friends, family, and the doctors who saved her life. She spoke about her health issues in order to encourage other people to get second opinions. We wish her a very fast recovery. And Sofia Vergara is being sued by her ex-boyfriend. The 42-year-old entrepreneur Nick Loeb is suing the Colombian-born actress over 2 frozen embryos the couple created at a fertility clinic in November of 2013. Loeb wants to protect the eggs with the goal of eventually having children later. He says he offered Vergara the legal right to waive all financial and parental responsibility, but she declined the offer. The couple tried twice to have children with embryos but were unsuccessful. Vergara has a son from a previous relationship. She is now engaged to actor Joel Manganiello. And now a sad story for many viewers of the popular Univision show Sábado Gigante. Univision will stop production of the show in September, ending a run that began in 1964 when Chile Mario Grutzberger, better known as Don Francisco, started as the show's host. Sábado Gigante is a 3-hour variety show that includes comedy, amateur talent, interview, games, and music performance. Univision says Don Francisco will remain involved with the network. The show is broadcast in over 40 countries. Elizabeth, this is all back to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Roxana. And we are now going to be going to a break, and afterwards we will have your weekend weather.
For 40 cents, I got an egg.
I got gum.
I got a hairnet.
A kazoo.
A candy necklace.
An orange. A Band-Aid. For 40 cents, I got one of these.
I got a really great hat.
I got half a song.
Extra mayonnaise.
A stamp.
Helium. Some bling. Some fries.
Balloon dog.
Fabric softener.
This much of a Shirley Temple. I got a mustache.
An apple.
Sprinkles.
15 minutes of parking and a ticket.
Lipstick.
2 pills a day is what it takes to stay alive if you're HIV positive. Those pills cost about 40 cents a day.
Lunch bag.
And the weather in San Diego has been feeling a lot like summer over the weekend.
That's right, Elizabeth and Della. We have been getting some high weather this week, but it's going to cool down, and we will be seeing some wet weather starting through next week. But we'll get to that in a little second. This evening, we're looking across the forecast throughout the nation. Seattle 45, 50 San Francisco, 56 Los Angeles, looking pretty good. Heading down south, Dallas 63, Jacksonville 65. Boston, 51, New York, we're looking at 56. So it's looking pretty good. Not too many severe weathers heading around the nation. Heading back over to Boston, 63, 77 in New York, looking pretty good. 81 in Washington, so it is springtime. Heading towards the Midwest, we were seeing some tornadoes earlier in the, last week. Severe weather, not going to be so much this week. They're going to be seeing some light showers, but 80 St. Louis, 78 Cincinnati, back down to Dallas, we're looking at 80 degrees. Heading towards home, Phoenix, we're looking at 90, 86 Las Vegas, 66 in Seattle, 70 San Francisco, 71 in Los Angeles, so you can kind of get a gauge of where we are in San Diego. And for our Febreze pollen forecast, we will be seeing some high levels. Today wasn't that bad, but tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday, we are going to be seeing those high levels. So if you do have allergies, you do want to take care of what you need to do before you get out. It is a great time to do some spring cleaning, though. Open up your windows, just get the air in your house. Forecast, we're looking pretty good throughout the weekend, but Monday we are going to be seeing that forecast. The weather is going to be dropping to 68. Thursday, that's when we're going to be seeing those showers, degrees at 63, showers throughout most of Thursday. Friday, it's going to clear up towards the afternoon, but partly cloudy throughout the whole next week. But this weekend, we're looking pretty good. Danielle, Elizabeth, send it back to you.
Thank you, Anate, for the great report for this weekend. And we just go for the last part.
Yes, there was an interesting selfie taken by CNN reporter as he was scuba diving. I'm not sure if this guy on the right here has ever taken a selfie before. It looks like a first time for him. So, Daniela, where's the craziest place you've ever taken a selfie?
You know what? I don't really have that selfie craziness, but we can come back to the cameras. I would say that I would take right now a selfie. How about that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you can follow us on all social media, San Diego City College, and we look forward to reporting for you soon. Have a very good weekend. I'm Elizabeth Baker.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I'm Daniela Porter, and have a great weekend.